Whose idea was that?
I don't know. We were like, we're going to try to do Jenga in a bouncy house down a ski hill.
I'm not going to lie. This is probably the dumbest thing that I've ever done.
What a shot.
One of the dumbest things
I
I've
have
ever
a picture of this. Ever.
It was the golden light
Like,
the
look
whole
at
day,
that.
right?
Yeah,
It was
it's
golden hour for
beautiful.
the whole day because we only got like, what, 4 or 5 hours of daylight?
You just go ripping down that freaking mountain trying to play Jenga, first of all.
And the more that we went down it, the faster we would go because we'd be smoothing out.
Yeah, and I feel like we didn't expect it to work.
Because the generator, do you remember tethering generator?
Freaking a blower and a generator. I'm glad you brought this up because like this is one that I haven't touched on yet. Look at you guys in there, just getting slammed.
Yeah, no, it was dangerous, dude.
Oh my gosh,
it was so dangerous.
Welcome to a filmmaker's journey. I feel like I said on that Instagram, I feel at home when I'm with you, Bubba.
Dude, your podcast is a time capsule,
isn't
for
it?
Me. You've had these guests on, and I'm like, man, it was such a different era back then.
Totally. Well, what I've found is, and you're a part of this, is we're putting together a puzzle. It's like I'm getting everyone's perspectives of that time.
Yeah.
And I have different guests that weren't involved in any of that, but like every couple of guests all kind of came from the Supertramp era, and we're still putting the pieces together. Next week we got Carter coming on.
I think I know what you're like. I know what you're gonna do. I think the reason why you're having these people coming together is because you're like, we're making a reunion video.
Yes,
exactly.
Is that what dang it, Johnny? You
did I figure
spoiled
it out?
All of my. No, it actually has just turned into something cool where I didn't expect that. But obviously, the people I'm closest with, I'm reaching out to, and I'm wanting to hear their journey, man, and especially those that have been filmmakers and have cool stories. And you definitely have a cool one, and we're gonna get to it.
Yeah,
and I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
Let's dive into it. So first of all, let me give you a proper introduction. This is Johnny Quintana. Is that how you say your last name?
Quintana, yeah.
Quintana.
I like that. The white version.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And we call you Bubba.
Yes. Yeah.
We have done so much together. We've traveled the world. You're a filmmaker. Do you consider yourself? You have to consider yourself.
I mean, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
But I mean, that it's a hard thing because I'm comparative to like you guys. I'm always seeing myself as just like I always have looked up to you guys.
Well, don't compare.
It's just hard not to.
I know. We all struggle with it.
And we'll get into that. But
we all struggle with the comparison bull crap.
Yeah.
But you're a filmmaker for sure.
Yeah.
And what are you doing right now currently? Like, what does your career look like right now? What are you up to? All the things within like the last few months, even a year.
Yeah. So I recently just made the USA Paraclimbing Team.
Bam, mic drop. We're done.
That's it. We'll see you later.
You're in the Olympics. So
well,
is there anything else?
Well, so I have to.
Just kidding.
There's nothing else.
I'm just kidding.
So the LA Olympics are in 2028.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know this until my fiancée now kind of nudged me.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you need to start getting into this. You know, you've been climbing for so many years, and it's time for you to, maybe tell your story a little bit.
Yes.
And stop being kind of selfish, Yeah,
you're so selfish. I'm sick and tired of it. I had to force you on this freaking podcast.
No, you didn't. You definitely
kidding.
did not. No. Yeah, so she was, she kind of nudged me and I went to the first paraclimbing practice, and, I was like, man, I think I can do this.
Yeah.
And so nationals hit. Well, actually, the first competition hit. I got first.
No way.
Yeah, and then nationals came.
Yeah.
About a month ago, about a month and a half ago, and I got fourth. I didn't podium, but I got fourth. That was good enough to make the USA team.
What's the qualifying? Like, is it fifth or something, or is it top four?
Top four make the team.
No way.
Yeah.
That's
well, there was
so
a guy
sweet.
that was pre-selected,
Yeah.
and so they were going to take 3 other guys on the USA team.
Yeah.
And so now I'm going to be competing on the world level, called the World Cups, the IFSC World Cups.
And then you kind of have to qualify as a country.
I have to, I mean,
to qualify the
you
USA.
want a podium, but there's a bigger World Cup championship in Seoul, Korea that I need a podium for. And that will kind of just get me set for that, the LA games.
Cool.
Yeah. In 2028.
Well, can you tell us why you're in the Paralympics? Can we go into that?
Paraclimbing. Yeah.
Because like, I think if anyone was to be like, wait, how, why?
Yeah.
Johnny, you don't seem
normal.
Like, yeah. Well, normal. What's the right word?
Yeah. I don't know. Adapt. I mean, well, it's the adaptive community, I guess. Yeah. That's the crazy thing is I never really talked about it.
Yeah.
You're right. I think I maybe told you.
Yeah, for sure. Point. But it's like, I just know the surface level. And I watched that interview too, that your sister posted about your story. So I know more about the people watching don't know you. Like, I know.
Yeah, I mean, even a lot of friends, when I first moved to Utah, a lot of friends didn't know.
Yeah.
They just thought I had, I don't know, skinny legs, I guess. But I have a disease called FSHD, fascioscapulohumeral. It's a type of muscular dystrophy, and it's like one of 800,000 people in the world that have it.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's so rare.
Yeah.
I'm a special person.
Yeah.
So, I never really it made it define my, I don't know. It's hard to even talk about right now, now. It's not like it's hard just because it's just never who, it didn't make me who I was.
Totally. You didn't want to be put in a corner because you had something and people would think of you or see you differently.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or feel sorry for me for certain stuff, and, but now I guess it could be the time to tell my story because, since I've released this video and started posting more on my Instagram and stuff like that, man, I've gotten so many people from around the world that have FSHD that's reached out to me, just asking me about my life, about what I do for exercise, about what supplements I take.
So cool.
And that's the reason why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Right. That's the reason why I'm like, okay, maybe I should tell this story. Maybe I should do this because it's inspiring to others.
Totally.
And it's not about me, I think I can use my platform now just to reach out to as many people as I can, to better their life, there's a woman I'm talking to right now. Her son has it and we've been kind of corresponding email and she's just been asking me this is very current situation. And man, it's just been really great. It's heavy stuff. But it's awesome too,
dude, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I know this was not you didn't want to be defined by this thing, but you're now finding that there's other people in the world. And I think that's so similar for so many people. We don't want to put ourselves out there. We don't want to be known for our even just background or things that we might be dealing with, especially mental, we all kind of hide that stuff. And yours is obviously a physical thing where we can see it, but I'm sure you were always wearing pants or wanting to hide it, right? Because you don't want to be defined by that.
Yeah. And especially my background, I'm, I played high school football. I wrestled. I was
very athletic,
pretty good at wrestling.
Yeah.
And then, after, during college, that's when I got diagnosed. And so seeing my body literally kind of wither away slowly. And I was just talking to Zane about it. Would you want to have something done instantly, to transform your body, or would you rather have something kind of slowly progress?
Yeah.
And
crazy
and see it kind of dejuvenating, or your atrophy kind of, and it's kind of like the Benjamin Button. You wake up every day.
Yeah.
And you can just kind of feel something different forming or deforming. All over your body.
What is actually happening? What is the disease?
It's I have a gene called the DUX4 gene. This is I don't know if it's scientifical, but it's a DUX4, and it's basically eating my muscles away. And there's some studies that I may have too much calcium in my body, my muscles. That's why it's kind of deteriorating. And there's a lot, if I have too much stress on my muscles, it deteriorates my muscles. And
wow.
So DUX4, when you're an infant, you have it. Everyone has it. It just kind of dissolves when you're an infant, but mine just kind of stayed there. And that's what's kind of
started showing up once you're in college, really obvious to where you needed to get it looked at.
Yeah. So I pulled my ham in wrestling, my calf in wrestling. And I think that's what kind of ignited the whole situation. And then it kind of just spread.
Interesting.
It's wild.
That's so wild. Yeah. And it's interesting to hear kind of what it actually is. And then that's obviously what you're doing currently.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
Thank you.
I'm glad we started with it, because now we can like, we'll get back to it.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be a huge part of your journey too, of like, you know, having this disease and just like taking it through your life. And I want to talk about that, but also I want to talk about your journey. What else are you doing right now? What's your work like?
So I'm currently freelancing.
Cool.
Doing different projects with people that I can. I mean, I'm actually currently just got sponsored by Friction Labs Chalk. So I don't know if I can plug that in. I'm joking.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're
dust goes flying.
Yeah. So yeah, they're so just doing content for stuff like that, and there's potential to making money, and
nice.
And Honey Stinger, sponsored by them too.
Way cool.
But
you're able to make, it's kind of like user generated type content for them.
Yeah. Friction. Yeah. And just doing different projects with different people. So got a project with like a YouTube family a couple of weeks ago, and stuff like that.
And you're shooting and editing?
Shooting, editing, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's what I'm currently doing. I mean, this climbing thing is kind of taking up my life.
Yeah.
My fiance and Sam are moving to Europe in about a month and a half.
Yeah.
Because that's where most of the competitions will be. So we're just going to be competing and traveling around Europe competing.
By the way, can I see your ring?
Do I?
Congratulations.
Thanks,
that was
dude.
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Creighton told me about it.
Did he really?
Yeah, he was on, because he was literally leaving the next day. Yeah, he's like, I can do it. I'm leaving the next day, so we'll do it this day. And he came on the podcast and he told me the whole story.
Oh my
Sounded
gosh,
like it didn't go like quite as planned because of nature.
Yeah, and Sam and I are starting a YouTube channel.
Cool.
So I think it's just going to be a great opportunity to kind of tell my story and tell her story from like the perspective of living with someone that has a disease, or you know, I think it'll be good. But yeah,
cool.
That's what we're doing, and I hope that might take off.
Yeah. I think that's what we all hope when we do something. I hope this would take off. Gosh, it's just not.
It totally is, though. You just have to, but like you out of anyone should know, if you just keep it, be persistent.
Going,
you know,
it's so much work to do a podcast.
But with your taste though, right?
Yeah.
Like a podcast can be a podcast, but with your taste,
it's high quality and it takes more time. And I know. Gosh.
But that's what same with like YouTube too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like when you come from like Devin Supertramp or somebody like that, where the quality is the best, and you want to do YouTube, you think like every shot needs to be the best.
Yep.
When it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be. Although I do want this to be an experience for filmmakers when they come in, because what's another podcast? But like when they show up here, it's like, what, whoa, cool.
It is very cool. It is very cool.
Anyway, enough about my stuff. You're starting a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing that?
So I have 3 episodes right now, and we're hopefully going to launch it next week.
Cool.
So it'll be like an intro, and then there's an engagement video in there where it's just
gotta go viral.
I mean, it's gonna be like the best pivotal engage. You know, we had to pivot so much. It's a cool thing because everyone like vlogged about it. And it'll just be a cool touch to how we tell it.
Heck yeah.
And then kind of just like a daily vlog type of thing.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah,
the life in Bubba's life.
Yeah, exactly. Mainly about climbing and just like living holistically and so Sam is,
especially if you're going to Europe, that's gonna be super fun to follow.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, let's go all the way back. And I thought a lot about this when I'd asked you to be on this. I was like, did you have a moment where you're like, I want to be a filmmaker? Did that come way early? Did that just happen? Like, I don't know the answer, but I was so curious about it. It's like, I think the pretty traditional answer has been like, my mom had a video camera and I shot when I was little and I did this and that. What was yours like? Do you have a moment that it was like young?
Yeah.
I want to be a filmmaker.
I always had a camera.
Did you?
Yeah. Like in high school, so Creighton is my childhood best friend.
Yes.
We've known each other since like 2nd grade.
Yeah.
And we'd always make these weird home video movies. Yeah. I don't know if he told you that.
He didn't tell me that.
Yeah. And
he made it sound like he didn't get started until Supertramp popped off. And he's like, oh, I can make
He's fabricating it, man.
Dude, he
just doesn't have memories.
That's why this is a puzzle, is everyone has different perspectives and it's so fun to piece them together.
Yeah. We would always go out and do these weird, crazy stunts. Like, I remember this, we'd have our clique in high school.
For sure.
We'd have video, our video cameras or Sony, like Best Buy video cameras. And we would do these weird stunts. Like one time there was a guy, we were like, hey, would it be cool if like a guy escaped out of the back of a car and he ran across the street on a busy road, like in his underwear, like tied up. And then like,
who knows?
We would do stuff like that, and like shoot it and make these home movies, and then Creighton in his Jeep would get chased by the cops, literally, like
literally.
Like see this, like we would do these crazy stuff. But I don't think that really took off until there was one specific moment. And I thought about this. There was a roller coaster video that Devin made.
Yeah.
And I saw Parker a while back. He was kind of halfway, on this like trail that we made for the roller coaster thing. And he had this camera and he was using the glide camera. And I just remember that moment where I was like, man, this is so cool. I don't think I want to be a stunt man anymore.
You want to film it.
I want to film it because I don't want to break any more bones.
Yeah. No kidding. Are you okay over there, buddy? Okay. Can you pull up the roller coaster, Devin Supertramp? Sorry, it's Zane's first day.
No, I love Zane.
Typically, we have someone that's way better running the LED wall. Devin Supertramp roller coaster.
Yeah, it's in the notes I gave you, Zane.
This guy. It is. This is fun because Zane's been now on my podcast in 3 capacities: a host, a guest, and now he's running the board.
No.
I'm not an IT guy, bro.
How do you use this laptop?
Yeah, so he was kind of like halfway, and I just from that very moment I was like, what would it take to shoot, stuff like that?
Yeah.
How much money would I need to buy a camera of myself? Yeah. But that didn't really come to fruition for a while.
Yeah.
And
then because you were on the rope swing video too. In that video.
Yeah, it was just like a part of the peanut gallery, Yeah. Like I was just part of like the person like, oh, who's going to do the craziest things? Like, let's call Bubba.
Yeah.
And usually most of the time I'd be like the guinea pig.
Yeah.
I don't know how that.
Dude. Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Remember the blob?
Yeah. There was once.
Yes. How do I forget? Actually, maybe you have forgotten because you literally landed on your head. You okay over there? So click on this and escape. There you go.
Oh, wow.
Now drag it up. Okay, well, we've talked about this video like 10 minutes ago, so we can move on to the next thing. Just kidding. Just show it real quick so we can show the first like inspo moment for Bubba.
So with this thing,
just push play. So, yep.
So with this,
I forgot about this video. And then just go full screen.
That tree was so dead that anytime that you would step on a branch, they would break. And we didn't think this would work.
Was that Seth?
That's Seth, yeah. So I'm the one that actually did it the very first time to see even if it worked.
Yeah.
And I was very disappointed that I didn't get to go first because I was
you're the test
I was
dummy.
a test dummy. Not a big deal. But that's the thing is like when we were doing these videos, we were like, what can we do to get that viral shot? How famous can we get?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's when the virality stage was there. It was just like, what's the craziest thing we can do to get on camera?
I know that feeling, man. And whoever did that would make the cut.
Yeah, exactly.
And like be at the beginning or something.
Yeah.
I know that feeling for sure. I was doing all my gainers just being like, oh man, I got to hook a bigger one. I got to be in the video.
Why do you think that was? I mean, like,
because we wanted to have followers on Instagram. At least that was the case I had. I was like, I want to have a following, but now I could care less about it.
I know.
I'd actually want to be more private now than actually show.
Yeah.
Now I'm like forced to show stuff.
Yeah. So I just, this stuff was just hard work.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, it's honestly, it's amazing because it's always going to be there. I'm going to be able to show my kids, family or whatever someday.
Sure.
But, and then the rope swing video, It was like
was that before or after this?
That was before. So we got there, and Devin was underneath the arch, I remember, and I had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
You know, and actually that was the first time that I heard that someone was going to shoot this thing.
Yeah. You were there and they're like, oh, we're going to make a video.
Yeah. Cause like Lindsay Sterling was like hanging out with us and stuff.
Yeah.
And she was like, hey, cause I think they were dating at the time.
Yeah.
She was like, hey, you need to go shoot these goons that are doing stupid stuff in the desert. And he was like, all right.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I met Devin with his like, I think he had a red camera maybe, or maybe like it
was a 5D at
5D Mark III or 2 or something.
Exactly, Mark II.
And then we shot this in 2 days actually. Yeah. So we came back to it when it was like sunny and stuff.
Yeah. Make it more happy.
Make it more happy. So yeah, that was the first time. I'd never thought it would. I was like,
but then it was the Snoller coaster that, oh, there you are. The Snoller coaster that because Parker, he was working for him. So then you saw that and you were like, I want to do what Parker's doing. Or
I want to do like,
you wanted to operate a camera.
Yeah. I wanted to operate a camera. I wanted to capture stuff, you know? How hard could it be?
Yeah.
No,
so easy.
It's incredibly hard.
Yeah. So then what happened at that point? Because I mean, we've kind of brushed over high school. Like we kind of brushed over a lot and went straight to the Snoller coaster. Is there anything in high school like that you did or that's worth noting? It sounds like you were a middle linebacker, if I remember right.
It was outside linebacker. Yeah.
Outside linebacker for high school.
Yeah.
And you were a dog. Yeah, you were.
No. I could hit really hard. I didn't start. I mean, I was little, you know, but I would play.
Yeah.
I just like to hit, you know, and throw my body around.
Heck yeah.
But no, nothing like really besides like just having a film camera and just making stuff with Creighton.
Yeah.
And my buddy Chris, who actually, I mean, he's honestly inspired me more than anyone. You know, he was a script writer and he won some awards in college, and he just knew how to tell a story.
Very cool.
And so I've always like kind of looked up to him too.
Yeah.
You know, and what he's done. And so I think that film and like shooting has always been a part of me.
Yeah.
You know, and when I really came down to it, it was just like putting the time into shooting, you know, and learning how to operate a camera and editing. And we can talk about, you know, after like being a stunt person or whatever, torch paddles happen. Yeah.
I was gonna say, cause that's like Devin was probably paying you per project to like come and be a stunt guy.
Yeah.
And then, you started your torch paddles business with Creighton and David and
Buck.
That's right.
Yeah. That was a crazy thing, because I never thought I'd own a company either.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like in my 20s, I was just a yes man. Like opportunities came and I was just saying, yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Cause like Buck, it was me and Creighton and Buck were swimming in a lake, and Creighton dropped his headlamp in the water, and he picked it up with like a paddle, like one of our stand-up paddle. Did you know about this?
No, he didn't tell me that.
He picked it up he tried to like scoop it and he caught it, you know, the headlamp with the paddle. And then he started like,
he's like, oh my gosh.
And he was like, dude, what if we put lights on a paddle? You know? And I was like,
yes.
No, I was like, that's a cool idea, you know? Like, and Bug just thought it was the coolest idea.
Huh.
And we get off the lake and we go inside and we see if that's a thing, and it wasn't. And Buck, I just remember Buck sitting us down. He's like, don't tell anyone about this.
Oh gosh, you signed this NDA right now.
Yeah, he's like, don't tell it. Yeah. And Creighton and I left on a trip probably to go shoot a video. And, we come back and Buck had built this like Iron Man contraption with a paddle. It had like a little flick of light or whatever on it.
Really?
Yeah. And like it just shined, you know, the paddle just shined. And
that's so cool.
Creighton and I were like, dude, this is awesome. And we just got a bunch of people to go out on the lake and started paddling around.
That's so cool.
And that was the evolution of torch paddles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Building our paddles in the garage.
Way cool. And then, because I remember, at what point did you guys move into the Supertramp startup building? Not the Supertramp, but the startup building.
We moved in after, I think it was like year 3 of torch paddles.
So it's been going on for a while.
It's been going on for a while.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And that's the thing about like business, like owning your business and hustling.
Yeah.
You know, and anyone out of anyone, you should know like how to hustle.
Yeah, it's hard.
I think I always
hustle.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got our prototype from China. We went to we decided, I was calling so many of these shops and I was trying to explain what it was. Yeah. And all these like companies were like telling me no. Thanks. Yeah, how do you sell a light up paddle on the phone? Yeah, hey,
so it lights up.
Yeah, it lights up. See, it's really cool at night, you know? And everyone was telling me no.
Yeah. Well, I think the coolest thing is like when you're actually on a paddle and you see the reef or whatever light up. That's like, how do you explain that?
Yeah. So I wasn't getting any sales and I wasn't getting any hits by calling. And I was calling so much. Yeah. And I was the sales guy, by the way. Yeah. And so I was watching this interview. Nick Woodman, he owns GoPro, or he did at the time. And he told me, he did like this 60-minute interview. And he was like, I got my camera and I wasn't selling. And so I just put all my product in like a panel van and I went down the West Coast and I guerrilla sold. And I like paused it. And I was like, dude, that's exactly what we need to do. Yeah. You know?
And you did.
Yeah. So like I told everyone, I was like, guys, we're not going to be able to sell anything on the phone. Like we need to go show companies this. Yeah. So we go to Seattle and we go in our first shop and all 4 of us go in with our paddle and the guy tells us to get out.
No way.
Yeah. Oh, which is crazy. Yeah. This is wild. And so the other time, so we literally go from Seattle all the way down to San Diego. Yeah. And we didn't get any sales. And again, this is like the discouraging. So discouraging. Yeah. But as we were going down the West Coast, we started hiding these treasures called torch treasures, and we do like $75 in gold coins in these lakes and hit them, and then we gave clues, and that got media press.
Did it?
Yeah. So we got a bunch of like media press to, hey, like this company is
way cool.
Giving away $75.
There's like that adventure company that's doing that, the treasure hunt stuff. Was that before them?
That was before.
So you guys were setting the standard. Yeah. That's cool. Dude.
Yeah. So we go to the OR show, and we didn't get anything. We had the coolest booth though, and then we go to the Surf Expo in Florida. And we started getting a lot of traction as we go. And I told everyone, if we're not going to get any sales at the Surf Expo, we can't keep going with this. And the very first time, this guy who told us no the first time in Seattle came to our booth, and he was like, "Hey, I'm getting a lot of traction. People are asking me about this torch paddles. I need, can I buy 2 dozen of them?"
You say 2,000?
No, 2 dozen.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
So that was the guy that told us no initially that literally kicked us out of his shop, bought 2 dozen in Florida. And then
full circle.
Full circle.
That's cool.
Yeah, and we sold out our first run.
So how many did you make your first run? Like how many did you?
We sold I think on the container it was like 2,000 paddles.
Wow. That's cool. Sold. And you guys are hand making them?
No. We were.
How did you manufacture it?
Oh my gosh, that's a whole other.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Crazy. We actually found a manufacturer in Woods Cross, Utah.
Really?
Yeah. At the time, we didn't know what we were doing. We should have just gone straight to China, but they were kind of the middleman, so we were paying them and we were paying China.
Got it.
To make these paddles.
So your margins weren't the best.
No.
Dang it.
But we didn't know. Oh, that's you.
Oh. Wait, why does it say Big Door?
Bro, presented by Big Door, dude. That's where I was.
Wait, what? What is this picture?
Dude, yeah, why
do you have a Big Door logo on your torch paddles with me in the picture? What the freak?
I have no idea. But you were here. This is Lens Canyon. This is when we went on our trip.
Yes.
Yeah. And we hiked.
This was when we very first met.
Yeah, you and I. Yeah. Yeah, that was the first trip that you and I went on. I was a
skinny little jack dude, like super cut.
You look good.
No, I was skinny, but I was super cut.
Yeah. You were cut. Yeah. You were like, who is this guy?
That was so fun.
Yeah.
Dude, what the heck?
That's so funny.
You were at Big Door and
I couldn't say anything.
I was a Supertramp and he was a torch paddles, and here we are all in one photo. Wild. 452 weeks ago.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, that's what we did. We did that for 4 years, and at the time it was kind of too big for us to know what to do as a company. You know, I wasn't a designer, I wasn't a videographer, I wasn't an editor, I didn't know anything. Yeah, I just knew how to like talk to people and sell. You know, it was like a huge learning, I'm sure, experience. Yeah, I'm sure. Creighton talked about it. You know,
well, he touched on it, and it just became to a situation where you guys are like, this isn't gonna go anywhere.
Yeah,
so you shut the doors.
Yeah, I think it had potential to go somewhere. It just wasn't our passion. Like paddling wasn't our passion. Got it. And I think we had the brand, and we had like
the lifestyle,
the charismatic people, because everyone would love to hang out with. We went to like 9 expos in like a year one time, and cool. Yeah, it was just like this big thing. We were in magazines, and I think at the time we were in like 20 different countries, and we had like distributors all over the world.
So you guys were doing pretty good.
Yeah, man.
Just the margins weren't there.
No, and we just kind of
didn't like it.
We didn't like it, and we just kind of, you know, we needed to hang it up. Yeah. Yeah. And it was good that we did.
Yeah. But you learned a ton.
We learned a ton. And then the money that we would have spent in torch paddles, I bought a camera.
Nice. And that started your journey again.
Well, Strat was like, hey, I got this project in Israel, you know, birthright trip. Yeah. Which is where I met my fiancée, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
You've known her for a long time then.
Like 7 years, dude.
What?
Yeah.
But you guys didn't start dating till recently.
Like 1.5 years ago.
Okay.
So he's like, I got this birthright trip. And I was like, dude, I don't have a camera. And he was like, well, you can use one of mine. And he had like, you know.
GoPros?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You know, I was like, well, I was like, okay, I guess this is the time to invest, you know. Yeah. So I bought the 1DX Mark II, the massive brick camera.
Heck yeah.
And just like, it's like, you know, 24 to 105 lens or something.
That's it. That was the same thing. I did the 1DX, not even the Mark II.
Yeah.
24 to 70.
I wanted to be like you. I wanted to be like Devin. Yeah. You know, I wanted to be like, shoot with the same thing.
Go shoot stuff. Get a glide cam.
I just didn't know how to use it.
Yeah. so you went out and started shooting stuff and just kind of figured it out?
I learned how to use the camera on the flight to Israel.
Really?
Yeah. And there's a shot on my Instagram, like the first picture that I ever took with it, like learning how to shoot with it. I didn't know how to edit either. I just, you know, but I was like literally reading the manuals and just like playing with it on the flight because it's such a long flight. Yeah. Yeah. And that was like
nice. First introduction into cameras.
Introduction. Yeah.
Is that in his notes? I want to see that picture.
Yeah. I mean, I think my Instagram, and that's another thing with Instagram. I don't post a lot, but it's intentional, you know? Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's of Strat, and it's like in the plane, and he's
and he's in all black, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think I remember that picture.
Yeah.
Is this on your Instagram?
Yeah, Zane.
You have a lot on here.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's intentional. He's not.
No.
It's okay. Just pull up the Instagram and we'll look at it.
It's not a big deal.
Just throw it up on the screen. No, it is a big deal. It's the very first. It's like your first picture.
Yeah. So
that you're taken with a DSLR. So scroll down. It's definitely way before this. Way before all this. I know this life better than Zane.
You stalk me a little bit.
A little bit.
That's cool.
There it is, Israel.
Oh, that was it. Up. In the middle. Keep going a little bit.
So all these images you have
right there.
Oh, heck yeah, dude. On the flight. Let's go. Yeah. Look at that style.
Yeah.
And then that's when it began.
That's when it began, man. And then I met my fiance on top of Masada and got the best shot. I mean, it is to this day my favorite shot. I'm just not saying that.
Really?
It's just like she's doing yoga, you know, the 1DX, it was that, you know, 120, you know.
Yeah,
frames, slow motion. Her hair is kind of like flowing, and she's doing yoga on top of this mountain on sunrise, and it's just like, and I, you know, pull out. It's just like the coolest shot ever, and yeah, I learned a lot that trip.
That's awesome. Israel. And you just what happened at that point? You kept filming things with Strat, or were you like, this is the direction I want to head? Because at 2018, that was like when I left Supertramp. I was now nomadic. and you started.
You were still at Devon Supertramp.
Because I left you left 2018.
Yeah, you left right before I came on, like full time.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we were doing projects with like.
You were still doing like one-off gigs.
One-off gigs, yeah. I mean,
you started skydiving,
and I didn't really know how to edit that much. Actually, the time that I started learning, I was doing a case study, like a medical case study, where they'll sit you in a hospital and they'll like give you a drug or whatever, and I lived there for like 9 days.
Really?
And so on my computer, learning how to literally edit.
Nice.
My first gig.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. A company called GoScope.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Kevin? And so I was in my hospital bed. Kyle, yeah.
Kyle, yeah. He's cool.
In my hospital bed, learning how to edit. Nice. And I remember in that project, I come to the Supertramp studio and I go to Zane and I'm like, dude, I've started editing this video and I've redone it so many times. I'm just like losing my mind. And Zane comes in there and I was like, all I want is just like a cool transition, going from one thing to the other. And I was like doing these plug and play things, where you can just like drag it, and they were just terrible at the time.
Yeah. Templatey.
And he comes in and like he spends like 10 minutes on this thing.
Done. And
he shows me and he's like, this is how you do it. And I was just like mind blown, and then that's when I realized, man, if I just like, attention to detail, like attention to like, I think I have a creative eye. I just need to like get this thing going. Start using it. Mm-hmm. And Zane like comes in and he, he's like, yeah, I know exactly what you're doing. And then he just like does it really quick and shows me, and he's like, all right, we'll see you later. And I was just like, man, like, dang. I know. I was like, what level do I need how much more time do I need to spend?
Yeah.
And that's what kind of motivated me. I mean, the video came out to be pretty cool, for what at the time, for my first gig or whatever.
Totally.
Yeah.
So then you were doing freelance stuff, and then you started at Supertramp like right after that?
Yeah, I was doing freelance stuff. And then Carter, he called me and he was like, hey, we're going to Mexico and I need a BTS guy.
Yeah, you went to Xcrat.
Yeah.
I've been there a few times. Freaking awesome.
Have you really?
Yeah, but you guys went there before I did, and I asked Carter all about it.
What did you?
You went and did BTS there.
Yeah. Wait, where did you just go with Haley?
First one was with a company, and then we just barely went there in February.
You went with a company, like, did you shoot for them? Or?
Mm-hmm. And then we got a cool deal to come back the next year.
What did you think of that? What did you think of it?
We loved it, but we were in the resort. So we actually did that.
Yeah.
We did the whole park. Oh my gosh, it's cool to see this now that I've been there. Because I remember seeing this.
Yeah.
And not even having a clue what I was looking at.
And it was just, he's like, hey, yeah, we just need some like fun energy, and can you come run point on BTS? And at the time I was like really nervous.
Yeah. But you had been in 100 BTSs at this point.
I've been in 100 BTSs. You're actually going
to film it.
Yeah, but I'm actually going to film like a BTS, and this was so fun, by the way. But yeah, and I didn't know at the time, like Carter was kind of testing me. Like
looking for someone to come do this more often, but you didn't know that.
Can he do this? Yeah. And I was, and man, I think I went through like a card in the first 3 hours, I was shooting everything. And Devin was like, he was telling me, he's like, you don't need to, but I wanted to get everything. Get everything. And it was awful editing that thing because there's so much footage. But man, I learned so much from that, that video.
Yeah.
And then Carter was like, do you want to keep doing it? And I was like, yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Like you're kind of just starting.
Yeah.
And then because you've created these connections prior to doing film, it opened up that opportunity for you to like jump right into a full production.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was, BTS, man, I had so much fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if we go back into like looking at these videos, like going back, I mean, Zane did the Zelda video, and I wanted to do like something super special for Zane because he wrote, he directed, he did everything. And at the time, the movie 1917 came out. Yeah, you know, the one take. I think it was 2 takes, but they would
hide the cuts.
They had this like featurette on it that I really loved on how they told the behind the scenes of it. And I go to Zane and I'm like, dude, let's just do something like that.
And you did.
And I did. And I think it was like 20 minutes, 28 minutes of BTS of what Zane did. And it goes over like,
that's cool.
Like the stuntman, it goes over the makeup, it goes over.
Like it's a true behind the scenes, not just like a fun angle.
Exactly. Yeah. And it just, and it interviews, you know, everything. Oh yeah. There's Zane. Yeah. I mean, I kind of like copied the featurette of 1917, like literally from like the font to like the.
Dude, that's what everyone does though. We find something that inspires us, we copy it, but we make it our own. Because like anyone watched this, they wouldn't think that, right?
Yeah.
You knew that that's what your goal was, and it became yours.
Yeah, and working beside Zane.
Hey, there's me. I didn't know I was in the BTS. No, really. Rewind it.
I think you came in.
I came with Nixon. You could see Nixon. Go back. That was so funny. I actually was like shocked to see over there. And then you see my... Now I can look over there, Bubba.
Where? Oh, that's you.
Yeah, clear over there. And then there's Nixon. How funny. I was going to tell you this was the last time I had spoken and seen Devin. Like,
really?
Was at this shoot. And I came to see what you guys were doing. But this was probably a few months after I had left.
That's way so cool, crazy. Man. Do you talk about that?
What?
Like the gap. Did you and Devin talk about the gap?
Oh, when we started, it was like we hadn't talked in 5 years. Like he's excited to come on so we could chat and catch up, and that's like ultimately what it was. It was so cool to catch up.
And did it just feel like special? Like
it was such a good conversation and such a good like just like the best part was like I was a little bit moody and a little bit like I wanted to, you know, grow something, but I was working for Devin and Devin could sense that, and I was always like vlogging and things where now that I've been on his side of it, where I actually am running a company, I've had employees, I have so much respect for Devin and what he had to do to do what he was doing, but at such a high level too, with a massive YouTube channel and bigger budgets and things like that. So it's like, we're both dads now too. So it's like so cool to just catch up with that.
How would you have changed? How would you have done things differently?
I didn't know what that was at the time. I just knew something. I wanted more structure. I wanted more systems, but I didn't understand that. Like I think now I can say that, but back then it was kind of just like, this doesn't feel right. It just felt like we're all running in different directions because Devin was in Hawaii and I was here, but then it was fine because then me and Carter are doing our thing, and like so it was like 2 teams almost. Zane and Devin were doing stuff, but it was like I had this, I think it's just an intuition I didn't develop that was like of business, and just like so that's how I basically took my business and I've done it that way. I've built systems because ultimately my goal is to not work in the business, right? And that was the difference between I think me and Devin is he wants to work in the business and he loves that, which I respect. I love what I do, but I'd rather work on the business and choose when and where I work. So that was the difference, but I didn't know that at the time. Yeah,
I think I had the same feeling. Like COVID happened, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys got hit right when I left.
And we had so many projects that were coming up that were just going to be great. And we saw the evolution of the film industry literally stop and halt, right?
Within a day.
And I just remember Devin coming in and saying, like, Hollywood's shut down. Yeah. You know, like we were supposed to do this like Fast and Furious shoot or something. Mm-hmm. And every day was something new, but every day was like something bigger. It got bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah. And then finally he comes in, he's like, all production is stopped for, not just for Fast and Furious, but for every movie out there.
Yeah. And the real pandemic set in and it was like, holy crap.
Yeah. And it was a scary time. Like, but at the same time, I didn't know what to do either. You know? I think that same with everything was kind of being scattered and how we were going to create content and keep this like YouTube channel alive and stuff. Yeah. And yeah, man, like, yeah, it was frustrating, you know, but yeah, it's a hard thing to like wrap your head around, and also would I have done things differently? Yeah, you know, because I always came back to like, I'm working for someone like Devin, who is amazing and has the best heart and just, you know, is creatively a genius. And anyone would step in my shoes. Anyone would like give up anything to step in my shoes and be where I'm at.
Yeah.
But when you're there, you know, in real time, you know, you don't see that.
Yeah.
And I
take it for granted.
You take it for granted. Mm-hmm. And that's when I was like, I think I have to, you know, I have to go.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Because maybe I was taking it for granted, and maybe I didn't have the best, you know, like one job offered me and I was like, I was out.
Yeah.
And I wish I wouldn't have just bounced, you know.
Yeah.
Like maybe he didn't like deserve that,
mm-hmm.
you know. But at the same time, I think I was done, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah. And I learned so much, and Zane and I had an office next to each other, and I was
Zane took my office, you took his office, right?
Yeah. And I can just remember back, like, man, I was so blessed and so grateful that I worked with besides Zane, because he showed me so much, you know, and he would work with me. Mm-hmm. Like he probably got so annoyed by me coming in and asking questions and just like, what's different, you know, what can I do differently? Like, what can I do this? And man, he was just like so gracious, and, you know, helping me, you know what I mean?
we love our Zane.
I know, it's so crazy.
It's the same thing with me, man. When he was my neighbor, and it was more just coming in for therapy.
Yeah, that's it. Dude, yeah.
And then he'd come in and I'd show him how to edit.
Yeah, it was just a cool situation, a cool setup, but I think I would have done a little things to, you know, tweak some things and done it a little differently.
Yeah.
Not to say, I mean, Devin and I are on good terms, and we talk, you know, every now and then.
Like I said, like it's so much pressure to have employees, and just like, I always took that for granted of just like, we should do this or we should do that. But it's like, you don't even know when you're running a business. And it's the same thing with my employees. Like they don't even know. And it's part of our job to not, you know, raise hell or like cause fear. And so you kind of just suck it up and you take, like, especially during COVID, I can't even imagine like that pressure and that feeling when all the things just stop. And I've had similar situations, not as much as the pandemic, where it's just like all of a sudden you're like, I don't know if I'm going to make payroll next month. And it's like, holy crap. And you got to like scheme and figure out new ways. And so it's just a whole new level of respect that I've gained for anyone that's running a business doing it. And it's freaking hard and it sucks. And I understand why most companies don't make it after 5 years, you know. It's like,
or even 3.
Yeah. It's just so hard. But we're almost at year 5. So I'm hoping I make it.
I mean, dude, if you're able to do this, you know, and venture out on top of the stuff that you're already doing, like that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
I think honestly, if I'm selfish for a second and talk about what I've been up to, I think I just went through one of the lowest points of my business career, and I'm on the way out.
You're on the way up.
It's up. It's like, holy crap.
What was your lowest point, or like why? How did it get there?
I was honestly being pretty generous with the amount I was paying people. And so what's happening too with filmmaking is that people, I think unless you're like a mystery box or a larger company that expects $100,000+ gigs, and we're doing a lot of smaller gigs, my margins sucked. And they sucked for 2 years, but I also worked at Lumio. And so I'm a full-time employee running a business that's just humming, and then they go bankrupt. So I lose that. And then all of a sudden it was like, that was my income. I hadn't been using my business income. And now all of a sudden I'm pulling from my business income, and I haven't gotten any new clients in 2 years. And nobody knows this story. This is like the first time I've told it. But like, so it was like, 3 months of like, oh, this is fun. I don't have to do much because my business is humming. But then it was like reality started to set in every month as it started to go into red. Every month I wasn't profitable, and it was like, oh my gosh. And I've always had like an abundance mindset that's like, we'll be fine. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing, and I'm going to make more money, right?
Yeah.
I'm spending more, so I got to make more.
Yeah.
The reality was that wasn't happening, and I was going backwards for almost a year, and it caught up to me. And all of a sudden it was like, oh, shoot, like I have to make some hard decisions. And so I did. And you have to like scheme and like figure out new ways. And I started that school and like finding new ways to generate income, but then just pulled up my britches and went to work, right? Again, because I hadn't done that in like almost 2 years of like really like getting down in the dirty and just grinding and building it back and getting clients. And I still had a lot of the same clients, but like,
can I ask you like
the problem was in 3 years everyone's income went up. I started with 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's only expected. But anyway.
Can I ask you like maybe behind the scenes or behind the curtains of what people don't really see, like when you hustle like that, when you grind like that, does it take away from like home life and family life?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm in it. Right. I'm still in it. Like I've been working late, coming in early every morning. Like I'm literally in what I'm telling you. But it's like this, and I just told my wife this, I'm like, we're on the up. And I thought we were on the up last month, but we weren't. And it's like, finally, it's like things are happening, and it is. It's, fortunately, my wife is so supportive, and she gets it. She loved that time I've been able to be a little more available, and it's so important to me to be at everything for my kids. So I still make that a priority. Like, I think Nixon had a baseball game last night, and I had so much to do. So I dropped what I was doing, sucked it up, like still was on my phone writing clients, and then went to the game, watched the game, went straight home and started editing once the kids were in bed, so they don't even see me working. So it's like they know
how
that
do you do that? Like what keeps you focused like
survival?
Well, I mean, you have to support your family, right? Like that's the first primary
It's a survival instinct. Well, the thing was I had set my wife down like 2 months ago, and I was like, she's never had to worry about money with me. Yeah. And that was always a goal of mine when I got married. I said, when I get married, I don't want my wife to have to worry about that. I want her to have a career if she wants it, but then I want her to be at home with the kids if she wants it. Haley wanted to be at home with the kids. So I said, cool, I'm going to build that life. And I did. And all of a sudden I was like, babe, like we have to start thinking about money together now. And I will be honest too. I started to spend a lot. I got nice things, which is very easy for anyone to make a lot of money to start buying nice things and then realizing your expenses are up. So I made a lot of bad decisions on that end.
That's so
like fun decisions. I had a lot of dirt bikes. I have, nice fun things.
Yeah.
And I said, Haley, you got to like reel me in, and like, we got to make some better choices and turn this thing around. And I need your help.
What does she say?
She's like, absolutely. Like she was like, for sure. First, she's like, you're an idiot. I've been telling you not to buy more dirt bikes for 2 years. I think we had like 8. Well, because my kids were racing. And so Nixon had 3 bikes. Luca had 3 bikes. I had 2 bikes because I was racing. Yeah, it was bad. But then but that's a lifestyle too. It comes with the RV, the trailer. The racing is not local. It's statewide. So you're driving everywhere. So yeah, I was living that life and it was good, but it started to go backwards and it just caught up to me. It's a slow thing. I think anyone will learn. And I don't have a dad, and I wish I did. When it was like, I think about it all the time. I'm like, man, if I had someone that had some foresight into where I was headed, like, hey, I know you're having some success. Hey, I know that, things are looking good, but that's not always going to be the case. You got to be like prepared for other things.
Who gives you that foresight now?
Nobody. Like
Zane?
Nobody. No. Fortunately, I've just had some hard times, and I've realized that if I'm being completely honest, I'm fine. I have investments. I have things that aren't liquid. Yeah. Crypto, real estate, those things are fine. So it was just like, hey, Haley, like cash wise, we got to do something because I'm going to have to sell our investments to pay our mortgage or pay my employees. And then I got the studio, which is an expense. So expenses just rose. Anyway, I know this is cool because you're asking me questions and you're interviewing me.
No, but dude, like when someone sees you, especially knows you personally and like looks up to you, you know, and there's so many people that probably do, me including, like, I want, you know, like, yeah,
you want to know that it's hard.
Yeah, but like not even like when I think of you, it's like I'm not just being a suck up or whatever. It's like Tyson, the hustler, you know, the guy that like gets things done. Yeah, you know, and that's and I've always wanted to anytime that I've talked, I've always tried to pick your brain.
Yeah.
I have.
Anytime we've sat, you're wanting to talk business and just strategy.
Well, not even, yeah, but just like, man, like what keeps you ticking, you know? Cause not a lot of people have that, dude. Yeah. You know, you're like,
I think I have something to prove, and it's stupid. I have nothing to prove. And I think a lot of it stems from I just remember, I'll never forget, in high school, I was on the basketball team. My dad was alive at this point. But he wasn't around. I hadn't talked to him in like 10 years. And I remember telling my good buddy at the gym, I had just made the varsity team. I was the MVP, like I was the guy. So they wrote an article on me and put it in the newspaper. And I just was like, I'm stoked. I hope my dad sees this and sees what he's missing out on.
Oh my God, I'm going
to. I don't know if you ever saw the article, but I was like, I really just hope he sees it, because that sucks for him. He's missing out on me being this awesome kid. And I think that's stuck with me ever since, but it's stupid because he's not even alive anymore. And there's nothing to prove to anyone. But I do think that I love Matthew McConaughey's quote. He's like, I'm chasing myself in 10 years. You know, that's my goal. Yeah. Who I want to be in 10 years. That's where I'm going. And that's ultimately kind of where I've always had my mind. It's like, I talked about this with Zane. I said when I was 18, I was like, this is me in 10 years. And I wrote it all down. And I made a video, and it was like, holy smokes, I actually got there. And now it's like, hey, what's the next 10 years? And I stopped thinking about that. I actually ended up getting all that I like, I guess, attracted and manifested. But I never did it again. I was never like, what's now in that 10 years? So I think I hit it, and it was like, oh, life's good. I've got money. I've got things. I've got the family. And then it was like, now what? Now what? And that's literally where I was. And so I'm in this new, just like, what's next? What does my life look like in 10 years? But truthfully, if I'm honest, my life is right where I'd like it to be. And I'd probably want to be similar, just having more experiences with my kids and my family. So that drives me. And it all comes down to just giving my kids what I didn't have. Yeah. Just giving them a good life. But at the same time, it makes them spoiled little brats. And that sucks. Like, my kids have no idea how spoiled they are. But I really try to make them work for whatever they get. But at the same time,
I think that shows value, though.
Yeah, they just live a great life, and I've created it. But I want them to have it, and I hope they appreciate it.
Well, you have people that look up to you, for real.
Thanks.
And that's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just think I'm a little crazy, you know.
I don't think you're crazy.
Wow, we went off on a freaking tangent.
No, I think
those are great questions, though. You're getting into some good things I think a lot of people want to just learn about, and it all comes down to just hustle, because everyone has to do it. Yeah. And quality. If they want to. If they want to, that's the biggest thing. If they want to. Yeah. And that's what I got from Creighton's podcast is he's like, I don't want to hustle. He's like, I want to have cool experiences. Yeah. You know, and I think that so many people have that. Even the last guy I talked to, Tay Still, he's a DP. I think he's very much like that too. Yeah. It's like, gosh, I just don't like the pressure of hustling. We're in such a hustle culture. Yes. And it puts a lot of pressure on people that don't need it. Yeah. I think for him, I can't speak to him. I mean, he literally said, I don't want to hustle. I think that. Did he say that to you, or is that just because I don't want to put words in his mouth? I'm not going to put words. I mean, if we want to, spread some tea on your podcast, no, I'm just joking. I just know he kind of he ended his podcast with that kind of advice. He's like, look, we have one life and I want to live it to the best, and I don't want to spend it all working. Yeah, no, it's totally fair. So, and I think I'm in the same boat-ish, I think I like getting married, want to have a family. I think there's going to be some aspect in anyone's life, that you will need to hustle, I mean, if you want to live your corporate job and live in the cubicle, fine. That's a cool life too. And you get to see all your kids' games and stuff like that, and live that's a good life. Security, people need it. Security, but you're still hustling. Yeah. You still want to maintain that job. Yep. So I think there's going to be a little bit of,
you know, I think it's easy to say that if you are single.
Yeah.
You know, I want to have experiences, and that's what he's doing right now. I think he's living a great life.
Yeah.
You know, but I think there's a little bit of charge in him that needs to, you know, that he will probably eventually hustles, because he does desire a family. He does desire, you know, to be married. Like,
and he's got such an entrepreneur mind too. Like,
exactly. He's the one. Yeah.
We were talking about real estate back in the day. Like I think right now he's in that chapter though. It's like, I want to travel, experience life, and then he'll settle down eventually. Yeah.
I think he will too. And he, like, when he's at a job, he works, and I don't know why we're talking about him.
Because we love him.
Yeah, we love him.
We love you.
He works so hard when he's like in a position.
Oh, yeah.
He works so hard, you know. And he, like, we went to France to shoot this documentary with Devin.
Was that the one that Zane directed?
Yeah.
D-Day?
D-Day.
Yeah.
Man, what an experience.
I've heard.
Like,
we didn't even talk about that, Zane, on yours.
I mean, it was the coolest experience of my life.
Yeah.
Zane, we get there and we're like filled. I mean, we go to this like 100-year-old manor where all these like Green Berets are at, you know, that have like survived in battles like Black Hawk Down and the 12 Horse Soldiers and all this other stuff. And and it was just like, we didn't really understand what we had.
Yeah.
And I think it was supposed to be like a 12-minute short or something like that, like kind of a cool story.
It just evolved.
But then it turned into like a full 45, 50-minute documentary. Yeah. And I remember standing there, being intimidated by all these like military guys. And I'm like, Zane, what the hell do we do here? Mm-hmm. And he goes, go talk to them. Yeah. So, because I was like being awkward.
Because you were doing behind the scenes.
Yeah, I was doing, but I was also, I think I was like I was like a B cam guy too. And because I was in the plane getting shots and stuff.
Yeah.
And we go there, and I think we spent the first day we shot some interviews, but we spent the first 2 days talking to kind of build a relationship. Yeah. And man, I think that's one of my biggest talents is like I can go up to anyone and just talk to them. Yeah. And I remember this guy, Lieutenant Rick Lamb, who is just this like, you know, like broad back, like chiseled jaw, you know, and his back, you know, he's standing,
just a monster.
Yeah, but he's like 60 years old, you know.
Really?
Yeah. And we wrap up the documentary and we're all eating like pizza and stuff like that, and we built a relationship, and I was asking him these questions that I don't know if anyone could ask, but I was like, hey, like when you would go on these like missions, you know, how long would you stay up for? Like, how long would you? And he was like, I'd about like 3 days straight, you know?
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I was like, well, what kept you up? Like, how did you stay awake? And he was like, it's the stuff that I was doing. And, you know, and then I was like, well, when you got home to your family, did you just crash? Like, did you just go to sleep because you stayed up for that long? Yeah. And he goes, no. And I was like, why? That's so crazy. You stayed up for like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
And he goes like, I was like, what made you stay up? And he goes, well, the stuff that I was doing. And I just
what were you doing?
Dude, I wept, dude.
Yeah.
Like I wept, and he gave me I you know, I'm crying at this, like, you know, in front of these like tough dudes. Yeah. And he grabbed me and gave me the biggest like hug. And he goes, it's okay, man. It's over. Huh. He's like, nothing to worry about. We're here now. Do you remember that?
What were they? I mean, can we talk about what they were doing?
They were
just killing people.
He was like a Black Hawk Down rescue.
So saving people.
So he was saving people, but also like going in and eliminating the enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can see how that would just amp your adrenaline.
Oh, dude.
And of course you're not sleeping.
Yeah. So that story just stands out to me. Like the experiences that we've had. Yeah. And talking to some of these people, you know, like.
That's the best thing that has come out of any film set or shoot I've ever done is these relationships
that you built.
And the first time you and I really started with ours, I didn't know what you looked like because you were a zombie. It was Mad Max, you're all dressed up. That's like the first time we really got to know, didn't even get to know each other, just knew of each other.
Why did they pick me to do the makeup and I couldn't touch my makeup?
Yeah, you had like
I had the most gnarly makeup. Like I had to get it done.
Yep.
I think I spent like 4 hours in the makeup room.
In the mosquitoes.
Yeah.
That was awful. But then we went to Vancouver together and became homies at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we went to the bouncy house.
The bounce house.
The bouncy house was, whose idea was that?
I don't know, but it was a Jenga video. And we were like, we're going to try to do Jenga in a bouncy house down a ski hill.
Do you remember topping out the Inspire? Like it couldn't keep up with our
flying
speed.
Down the hill. You guys, yes, it was so fast.
I'm not going to lie. This is probably the dumbest thing that I've ever done.
What a shot.
One of the dumbest things
I
I've
have
ever
a
done.
picture of this in my office.
Really?
And then this shot of Strat. Dude,
this
is
what a good looking guy.
So good. This view.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Like you're literally on the top of a mountain and you can see forever.
It was the golden light
like,
the whole day, right?
And,
it was golden hour
beautiful.
for the whole day. Because we only got like, 4 or 5 hours of daylight?
Yeah, and then you just go ripping down that freaking mountain, trying to play Jenga, first of all.
And the more that we went down it, the faster we would go because we'd be smoothing out.
Yeah, and I feel like we didn't expect it to work. And it freaking worked.
Let me tell you.
Look at this.
Let me tell you a story real quick.
And there's Jenga.
I was watching a podcast, Steve-O from Jackass.
Yeah.
And he said, the question was, what's one of the stunts that everyone said no to? And he said it was a bouncy house going down a ski hill.
No way.
Yeah, he said this.
Because you could die.
Because the generator, do you remember
Yes.
10-ring generator?
Freaking a blower and a generator behind, this is just tubes, but behind it to keep it inflated.
Yeah, look at, and I stayed on.
Oh yes, you launched.
Oh my gosh. But yeah.
But then you could like die and get smothered, and
it was.
I'm glad you brought this up because like this was one that I haven't touched on yet. Look at you guys in there, just getting slammed.
Yeah, no, it was dangerous, dude.
Oh my gosh.
It was so dangerous.
You guys were troopers too. And then flying back from this place, do you remember how sketchy that was?
Yeah.
Smithers, first of all. Smithers, Canada.
Yeah.
Almost Alaska.
They weren't letting anyone, no one flew for the week that we were there.
The weather was bad.
And then we were the first flight out of Smithers.
Yeah.
And I remember staying below the cloud.
Yeah.
And the flight attendant gets on. She's like, hey, the reason why we haven't taken off yet, we've took off, but we were hovering, you know, she's like, we're looking for an airway to get out of here because there's freezing fog. And do you remember looking at each other? We were like,
we're going to die.
Yeah. Do you remember I feel like the motor stopped.
Yeah. Oh, there were so many, dude, the sounds that were coming out.
And
the
propeller. Propeller.
Yes.
It was,
So they probably froze for a second and they're like, whoa.
Do you remember that? It was
it was so scary.
I don't know if I can cuss on here, but
yeah, you can. We'll beep it out.
Paulina turns to me because I was sitting next to her, and then when that happened, when we go up and we start, sitting up, she goes, I just shit myself. She
and Paulina of all people to say that.
Can we talk about is Carter gonna get on here
next week?
Are you gonna tell him about the velvet?
Have we ever talked about that?
I don't
know. Yes, we have. I swear we have. Dude, I'm bringing it up.
Okay.
He knows.
I know you guys talking to me about it, but I don't know if you guys have talked to her.
Do you want to? You have to. Well, just say it.
So if you want to tune in next episode, we all were at Smithers and we were all ordering hot chocolates, and everyone else drank alcohol except for Carter, and we didn't want Carter to know, and so we all ordered velvet hot chocolates, but then as the waiter came around, we're like, hey, make sure his isn't velvet and it's just a hot chocolate. And so but then he went to go order it one night by himself.
He peeked through our room. He's like, hey guys, I'm gonna get some velvet.
We're like, oh crap,
Strat.
He's gonna know. So we had to have Strat run down and tell the waiter, if you see this guy, make sure it doesn't have alcohol in it.
Does he know?
I don't know if he knows. This will be fun. I feel like we've been trying to set up a boys trip for so long that we were going to talk about that and we just never have.
We have to. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
Times. So I don't know if Zane's heard that story. Yeah, it's so good. But what time is it? I remember.
You guys are an hour and 11 minutes.
Oh my God.
So it's only 3:11, 3:30.
3:18.
Oh wow, dude, these things go so fast.
That's crazy.
This has been kind of just like a highlight session. We're just jumping all over, talking about fun times, which is really cool. Let's turn it back to your journey, dude. So like you were at Supertramp, you worked there, you left. Sounds like you got a job offer. I even not interviewed, but I had you and Creighton come in at one point to work at Lumio, and I was like, bro, this is gonna be sick.
Yeah.
Come in.
We would have worked. We would have
done so much
signs for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I would have done anything.
Well, I really tried hard to bring you in, but be glad you didn't.
Yeah.
Although we would have had a lot of good times. I definitely got what I needed to out of it, but if I knew what was going to come out of it 3 years, I wouldn't have taken that gig for sure.
Yeah, I think you mentioned
but
that.
I wouldn't know any better. I'm glad it happened, but man, what a freaking stress ball.
Yeah.
But anyway, Ragnar approached you right after that, right? Or were you already at Ragnar? You were talking about leaving Ragnar to come work at Lumio, I think.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, but I just got the Ragnar job.
Got the job.
Well, it's crazy because I feel like back then I was getting so many job offers.
Yeah.
So I just got on with Ragnar, and then a guy approached me and he was like, "Hey, can you be our full-time editor and videographer? I'm gonna sell around the world for 2 years, and I would love for you to come and shoot that for me." And at the time, I was dating a girl, and I was like, so, and she was like, well, it would be hard for us to date. And I was like, so
are we breaking up?
No, I eventually just, I didn't see myself like doing that for I think it would have been a miserable thing.
Yeah.
Cool opportunity. And then you approached me, and that didn't, that kind of fell through. Mm-hmm. And then, but yeah, eventually stuck with Ragnar for 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was a great experience.
Yeah.
It was very much like a Devon type of thing where we would go out and I would shoot a race. I mean, very like
just documenting.
Yeah. And making ads and doing all this other stuff. Yeah. So they gave me a little bit of creative control. I made this Ragnar has been around for like 20 years, which people don't know that. It's been a 20-year brand, and I made like a cool little like docu-series and stuff, and just about the owner and co-founder of it, and just about where it's been. And I mean, it was a cool opportunity.
Yeah, I'm sure you got to do a lot of, and it's so valuable to work at a business that you're in charge of everything.
Yeah.
Because you have to do everything, and then you just start to learn and find out what you're good at and what you don't like and what you like, and it helps you so much into the future. And I did that with Nomadic. The
thing I missed though is I was the only one that ran a camera and edited. I missed that like camaraderie. I missed that.
Yeah. Because you had that at Supertramp, but then you went here and you were like, oh, this sucks just doing it by yourself.
Yeah, it's so hard.
Yeah.
I feel like I was hustling for a company.
Yeah.
It got to the point where it wasn't fulfilling for me. It was just kind of.
You're a button pusher.
I was just a button pusher, and it helped me get to the point where I needed to go. I mean, I built out a van. And so that helped me with that, but inconsistent paychecks and stuff. That's always good.
Yeah. I always love that.
Yeah.
Need that.
But yeah, I love working at Ragnar. I got to travel a lot, drive around the country, which is cool because we had 30 races, or something crazy. And so yeah, it was a cool opportunity. It was a cool, fun thing for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah. There's the van.
So you did that, cool. And then you got a van.
I built out a van.
Yeah.
So I've been saving for a long time, even before Ragnar. I think, but even before I worked at Devon's, I was saving that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Before it was cool.
Gotcha.
And so I built out a Sprinter van and lived out of it for a year and traveled Pacific Northwest into Canada and climbed and did all that stuff. And I would just fly out if I needed to, because Ragnar was a remote job.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
So you just catch a plane and go to the event.
Yeah, and I'd have Starlink, so I just get lost.
That's cool.
Yeah, and just kind of edit. And
you're by yourself.
Yeah, just.
What was that like?
It's great, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's something I always wanted to do. Like, it's so like. Yeah, I mean, going somewhere and just like being alone, getting lost is awesome. Yeah. You really like think about things and find yourself.
You're like
how cliche
quiet.
it sounds. You know?
No, I believe it.
Yeah.
And you enjoyed like, because I will tell people I'm a loner. Like I love to be alone and I like to do things by myself. A lot of people think that's sad. It's like, no, I'm actually just like comfortable.
Yeah.
And is that how you felt when you were doing it? It's like, it was good for you to be alone. Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I'm an extroverted person.
Yes.
But I think it was that's an era that I lived and I wanted to live.
Yeah.
And I got to live, you know? Yeah. It was great. I mean, I met a lot of cool people and climbed with a lot of cool people and got to see a lot of that countryside in the Pacific Northwest, which is just unbelievably beautiful. And
you were just shooting, like, were you shooting stuff while you were out there?
Yeah, I was just like capturing stuff. And my Instagram is not something to be, well, I'm proud of my stuff, but I am very intentional with what I post.
Yeah.
I don't need to be intentional anymore. But I don't have a lot of posts. Yeah. But what I do and what I upload is I always think there's a story attached to it. It's just not something that I'm just like, hey, what's going on? You know? Every post that I have is a story. Yeah. That I think is valuable.
Oh, there it is.
No.
So cute.
So yeah, that's something I understand like being relevant and having a platform. You have to post. It doesn't matter. You know, it needs to be, the quality of it doesn't need to be as crazy as it is, you know, as it is in my mind.
And I know I feel the same way. I've let go of that quite a bit as far as quality goes.
Really? So just
leaning into the algorithm and like what actually works, things that feel native to the platform. Yeah. Performs better. So like phone videos.
And a lot of reels. Do you do a lot of reels and
do a ton of reels with the fam, cringe videos, and they've gone super viral.
What's cringe video? What is that?
Like relationship type videos that are funny and kind of playing on being in a relationship with a man and a woman that, you know, the dude's always horny and the wife doesn't want to give it up. That's what it is. So anything that's gone viral has been that, because seriously? Every guy goes, oh yeah, I know that feeling. Share it to my wife or share it to my buddies, and so
it's relatable.
It's very relatable.
It's relatable videos. It's cringy videos, but it's relatable.
I just call it cringe because it's not real. Yeah, it's like we're playing into these funny things, and it's just kind of cringy. Yeah, but it's funny. So I've done that. It's been fine, but I'm so freaking busy right now. I don't even think about it. No.
Yeah. So Ragnar laid me off. Turns out the event industry isn't great.
Yeah.
That was kind of a big like nothing lasts forever, you know, and it was it was just a big thing. Like all of the stuff that I've done for this company didn't really, you know, I just felt like I was just, you know, one of a number, a statistic. Yeah.
You didn't feel like it was, they didn't see the value you're adding.
It was kind of, I mean, rejection's always hard, right? And I just, it hurt my feelings.
Yeah, let's just be real.
And I realized I don't know if I want to work for a company anymore, especially in the creative world, right? Yeah. Like, I don't want to create something for other people, right? Because it just gets shoved underneath the books, you know.
Yeah.
And
you're only as good as your next video, and it's like you have to constantly be relevant and constantly pump out the new thing, and you're never. It's just a never-ending freaking race.
Do you feel that, like having Tyson Media? Like,
for sure. It's like every video we make, it's that month's video, and you know you got to do it again the next month. Yeah, and it can be exhausting. but when the money's right, it makes it okay.
Yeah.
And obviously my goal is to support a lot of other people that, you know, want work. Mm-hmm. And so I'm getting it and handing it out and trying to grow something. So.
Yeah.
But the purpose, it's finding purpose. And I talk about this a lot. It's like, it doesn't matter that I'm doing a video and I do it again. It's like, who can I now bring in and actually give them work and add value to other people's lives? And then this business I'm helping, how am I helping that business? Like, I'm trying to use my talents and my skills to help other people ultimately get to where they want to go.
Yeah.
So that's like how you keep going. It's like, if you're just plugging away, it's like, what's the point? You know? But if you're like, you kind of have that perspective, it helps things be a lot better.
Yeah.
So
man, it's interesting to think about. That's one of my problems is like, you know, working for myself now and adding like value to each thing that I do and giving it all my all, but also like, it's on to the next. Yeah. You know.
Well, now you have a fiancée.
Now I have a fiancée.
So much of what you're going to do is supporting her.
Yes. Yeah.
And now you find purpose in that, I'm sure.
Yes.
So you're working for someone else, and then you get kids into the mix, and it's like now your purpose is even bigger. But and then if you grow things where you actually got employees, it's like, all right, now I'm helping them. And so it just kind of expands from there. But if you just change the perspective from being about you and like, what can I accomplish and how do I then use what I've been given and give that to other people and help them get to where they want to go.
Yeah.
It's a freaking dead horse, but I'm going to beat it again. The analogy. You knew it was coming. And I don't know if you've heard it yet, but think about this whenever you're like wondering about like fulfillment and stuff. It's the airplane analogy.
Yeah.
Have you heard it?
I think I have. Yeah.
Okay. Well, real quick.
You said it on.
I've said it on like 4 podcasts.
You need to keep saying it because
I love it. And it actually resonates with anyone that sits across from me. It's like, that makes sense because it really hit me. And it took me a while to learn it and actually get what he was saying. It was in a book called Lead for God's Sake. Mm-hmm. And this dude's sitting in a janitor's room with a janitor who you find out is, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's an amazing story. He's sitting there and he goes, he asks this basketball coach, he's like, he's really struggling with his players. And he's like, so what is, he's like, let's take this airplane. And he has like a model airplane. He's like, what would you say the purpose of this airplane is? And then I don't know what would you say?
To take people from point A to point B.
Okay. And that's exactly what he said. And he's like, okay, so then this airplane fills people up and it flies from point A to point B and immediately takes off and turns around and goes back to point A. Yeah. And it's like, did it fulfill its purpose? Like, well, no, because everyone's still on the plane. He's like, but you said take people from point A to point B. He's like, yeah, but I need, like, those people wanted to go somewhere. He's like, so, okay, so now the purpose is to take people to where they want to go. He's like, well, then anyway, it goes down and it comes in, it wraps it up. And he just says, this airplane could fly all over the world empty and go from city to city and town to town for 100 years. And it's flown billions of miles. And at the end of its life, it has a big party and it wins all these awards. And everyone's like, this airplane's amazing. But then it's like, well, what did it actually accomplish? And it's the same with like a person that's successful, right? That's maybe stepped on a lot of people to get to the top, or ruined relationships. It's no different. They're successful and they're winning all these awards, but then they're looking at their life and they're like, what have I done? What's the purpose of everything? And ultimately it's the same thing as the airplane. If the airplane didn't take anyone to if it wasn't helping people get to their destination. Yeah. So the purpose of an airplane should be to load people up, fly to the destination and let them get off. So they're taking them to where they need to go. So it's helping them get to where they want to go. So that's how I look at my life now. It's like, how do I get where I want to go, but bring people along with me at the same time? Yeah. So,
man, I love that.
Does that help?
It's good.
Did that come through?
It did.
I think I told that one. That was the most detailed I've told that analogy, but
I love that.
It's a good one.
It's good, man.
Because you don't want to get to the end of your life and you could be successful, you could have money, but then it's like, did I help anyone?
Yeah.
No. Well, you're going to be, I think you're going to be sad when that happens and you get to that point and it's like, you just want to help people along the way.
Yeah. So. No, that's good. I love that. I think you're doing that.
I'm trying, but I have considered myself selfish. Zane was like, you're not selfish. My wife says the same thing. I'm like, I think I've been a little bit selfish, you know, I've had my goals, I've had my things, but at the same time, I've always tried to help people too, but I've definitely had ambitions and things like that, but it's changed recently to be more focused. And it's a big part of this podcast is like helping people.
Just like in talking and getting people's stories.
Yeah. But then at the same time, I'm documenting people's stories for them. Like I was just with Chris Newman last week on my podcast, and he's like, this is so cool. Cause now I can, just when people, I've told these stories so many times, now I can just send them my podcast for this podcast and they can just listen to my stories. It's like, yeah, dude, I'm documenting your story for you.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Similar to the Supertramp videos, those will always be there, but this is your story.
Yeah.
So.
Man, I love that, dude. I really do. I think it's awesome. Because I don't think I really looked at it from that perspective, you know?
Yeah, why I'm doing this. I didn't realize it until I started doing a few. And I was like, this is cool for the guest. Like, this is their story.
This is your thought. Like that was.
I had it like 3 into it. I think it was after Jack's.
Yeah.
I was like, this is because he was like, this is cool. Now my story is documented, and I'm like, that's so true.
It is.
It's gonna be, and I'm doing it for you in a high quality way.
Yeah.
For free.
Yeah.
So appreciate it.
No,
I'm just kidding.
No, I do, man. Like,
I'm just kidding.
And we go way back, though. You know.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And so now that you're done at Ragnar, you've ridden in the van, you started dating your now fiancée, I imagine. Where did sounds like she kind of pointed you in the direction you're headed right now. Is that true? I guess what's the next step? Where are we at now in your life?
Next step.
After the van.
So we are moving out of our apartment. We got a cute little apartment, like a 4-minute walk from the climbing gym.
Nice.
So we just been kind of climbing a lot and training and stuff. And we are moving out of our apartment June 9th, going to Europe June 18th, and we'll be there for 3 or 4 months, climbing and training and competing.
Yeah.
And we decided together that this Paralympic journey will be for the next 3 years, and just kind of living that competitive life until the LA 28. And then after that, hopefully settle down, have a kid, the scientific way. And
IVF.
And IVF.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just do the dad thing.
Heck
and
yeah,
the
dude.
husband thing. Yeah. So she's the love of my life. She's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me.
So cool.
Yeah.
Can we get a picture of her face?
I was so enamored with her.
I want to show her off.
I was so enamored with her.
Do you have anything of her?
Yeah, I should. There she is.
There she is.
Oh, she's so cute.
Cutie.
She is. Yeah,
I'm talking about you, not her.
Oh,
I don't want you to be like, shut up. That's my fiance.
No, she is cute. Yeah, she's an athlete.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
That's cool.
She's amazing.
That's so cool.
Like way more athletic than I ever was when I was in my prime.
She can hit dudes.
Dude, she'll lay some dudes out. She used to be a gymnast and like a collegiate diver and all this and stuff. And so like she's actually a really good climber of herself, and she's just unbelievable.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so that's next, man. And I currently have a GoFundMe right now that we're around like 62% of like what I need to get funded
to do this whole thing,
just to do the whole thing.
Get to the Olympics.
Yeah, get to the Olympics. So I'm really blessed for the people that have kind of donated.
Real quick, plug that. Where can we go to donate?
GoFundMe at
Johnny,
yeah, Johnny Quintana GoFundMe. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's in my Instagram. It's you can like find the link in there at the website.
Perfect.
Yeah,
we'll go donate.
Yeah.
Let's get Johnny to his goal.
Yeah. And that's kind of what's going on with me. I'm still creating again, starting a YouTube channel with Sam, and it's going to be called Johnny and Sam.
Nice.
And we're going to be just
a couple of lovebirds
vlogging away. Yeah. The story of how we got engaged was insane.
Yeah. It sounds like it. I'm excited to see that video.
It'll be the second episode that I've I'm almost done editing.
Heck yeah. So. Proposals, man. I know about those videos.
Yes.
I still get paid from the videos I made 10 to 15 years ago.
Are you serious?
Google. Yeah. It's like $20 here and there, but still are some of my higher viewed videos. It's crazy.
It's incredible. You did awesome things, creative things.
Yeah. It's kind of like a documentary of
That's how mine is going to be.
So cool.
Cause I got everyone to Strat. I got Brad and Cammy to vlog, you know, about in Creighton.
Yeah.
Did a great job at just kind of telling the story. And so it's good. It's going to be easy just kind of plugging that in as like a documentary. Yeah. So it'll be good.
Well, we'll go check it out. And so your channel's going to be Johnny and Sam.
Uh-huh.
So that's not launched yet.
Not launched. It'll be launched next week or the week after. And then
it's already up at this point. When you're watching this video, it's up.
Yeah, it's up.
Because this will come out in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So cool. Go check that out. Go subscribe. All 10 people that are watching this.
Dude,
it'll grow.
This is where, it's gonna be great. Like the thing is, one of the things that I learned on YouTube, and you should know this out of anyone, is you're creating an inventory, and once that thing spikes, one video is gonna just spike. Everyone's gonna go back to the first
watch all of it. Yeah,
you know how that works.
It will, and I've already committed myself to 1,000 episodes. I don't even know if I can get 1,000 filmmakers in here, but that's the goal. And it's like nothing's gonna happen till episode 300. And what are we at? 17. I think you're 17 or 18. So yeah, it's part of it. So
I love it.
It's a lot, but go subscribe to Johnny and Sam. Follow them on Instagram. Check out the GoFundMe link. Any parting advice from all of your years of wisdom that you would want to give the children, the kids that are watching this, that are 12, that want to maybe live a van life, maybe have a similar condition or just any condition and want to compete into a Paralympics or just any kind of competition? What would you tell them?
Oh, that's a good question.
Loaded question.
Don't let your diagnosis determine your destiny. And I mean that. Yeah. Like, and I have to live with that, because I want to be a platform for people not just with FSHD, but for people that just have a disability. Yeah. And the biggest thing is when I was diagnosed and I was in the doctor's office, the doctor comes in and he says, your athleticism and your muscles and your biceps have gotten you to where you needed to go until now. And he said, the biggest muscle that you have is your brain. And I'm thankful that he said that, because it made me think about, okay, he's right. Like this door is closing, and a new one is opening. And I really think I did that, until now. I've done a lot of dumb things, but that's because I, was on Devon Supertramp and doing that stuff. But again, like I didn't let people sympathize or like have sympathy for me. I didn't let them feel sorry for me. I let them. I was just a normal guy, in a group, and I feel like people can live that life too. Yeah.
I have two things I want to talk about. One is very off topic, but this one relates to what you just said. I'm curious real quick, for those that you just gave that advice to, it's a hard question.
Yeah.
What took you, how old are you?
I'm 36.
What took you 35 years to determine that versus like maybe when you got the diagnosis? Like, don't let your condition define you. Because I think a lot of people will relate to what you've dealt with.
Yeah.
What would you say to that?
It took me 3 months ago to realize that.
3 months ago. So even sooner than I realized.
Yeah.
15 years.
Yeah. It took me so long. Because I didn't think that this, I didn't think that this disease would affect me the way it is now. I always thought I was invincible, right? But I'm seeing changes in my body that I'm like crying right now.
Let it out.
Let it out.
Pour.
Yeah. I mean, you wake up and you just, things are changing, and I'm not able to live how I used to, things are different. and also find somebody that can see past your disability, you know, like Sam, you know, and loves you for you. And I'm blessed, you know, because able-bodied people sometimes can't do that. You know? And I'm so grateful for that. But yeah, it took me a long time to do that. And I've lived so many lives, you know, but it took me about till 4 months ago until I realized that.
So ultimately, maybe the advice is, no matter how long it takes you, keep going.
Yeah.
Keep pushing through life as hard as it can be.
Yeah.
And whether you get to that point where you are like, hey, this condition doesn't define me or not.
Yeah.
Keep trying.
Yeah. I mean, as cliche as it sounds, just keep persevering, you know, and be a yes man like I was, you know. If opportunity comes, just say yes.
Do it.
Yeah. Because they're not going to judge you for it. They're going to judge you by your actions, not by how you
And
walk.
what's cool with all those experiences back in the day is that you, as much as you didn't let your condition define you ultimately.
Yeah.
So it wasn't defining you, but it was a part of you. And because you weren't letting it define you without really like saying to everyone or announcing it, you were actually living the life. So when I ask that question, it's like, it's not to be like, you never did that and you now are just doing it. It's like, dude, you've been living your whole life not letting it define you because you've been doing crazy things. And that's actually a perfect segue into the second thing I wanted to talk about. Pull up the blob. We have got to show, this is the definition of Johnny at Supertramp, meaning you were the stunt guy that literally got thrown into it. And you're like, I mean, you're small.
Yeah.
You're not like heavy.
No. And
when we put you on this blob, we had two of the heaviest dudes
that hit perfectly in the center. And it was the first time they hit in the
Matt
center.
And Christian.
They're
Wait, not this one. This is the first one.
They're so funny.
The funniest dudes, but they're both very
large,
heavy compared.
They are large
in
people.
comparison,
and athletic, dude. They're like
very.
Christian is super athletic.
Yes.
Did you know that?
Well, based off of what I've seen, and this is the first one. Yeah,
I have it on my notes, Zane. I'm joking. I saw Christian playing with a soccer ball, and he was doing these. Christian's like my height, but like, you know, a bigger fella.
Yeah.
And he was like kicking it and keeping it in the air, and then he bounces it over his head and then kicks it.
And honestly, Zane, I think it's going to be the behind the scenes because it starts out with that shot, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh!"
I have it on Instagram. On my Instagram,
it's
of like a home video.
So just do this behind the scenes. It's probably but we got to end it on a high note.
Literally, there it is.
And I'll never forget Johnny face down in the water, like.
Oh my gosh, dude.
So here it is. Oh, it wasn't Christian. It was Dakota and Matt. Boom! If you could only hear the audio. Well, we're going to make an Instagram video of this.
Okay.
So go back to that.
Yeah, I don't remember anything. I was I was knocked out, and I was.
You went so high.
I went so high, dude. And I did two
backflips. So Dakota
backflips.
and Matt, not even Christian.
I have it on my Instagram where you see the whole thing.
Boom!
I mean.
Oh, yeah, because that was the behind the scenes, but then I got like a red shot of it.
What do you think? That was maybe like a 50-foot, 60?
I think you were 60 feet in the air.
Dude, I did two backflips, and still, I was not at my peak.
Rotating.
I was not at my peak.
Yeah.
And then because I was like, I'm going to get two in here.
Yeah.
And then I did two, and I was still climbing up, and I opened up, and that's when I fell on my face.
Oh my gosh.
You have to go, there it is, right there. Yeah. This one has a better advantage.
This is the full view.
Yeah. It was, it's funny how the camera tracks up because how high I went.
Well, and then
like,
whoa, and then you open, slap. And then you hear Creighton, oh my, and then look, Bubba comes out of the water and he's face down with a life jacket and his arms just going like this.
I couldn't.
Because you couldn't tell which way was up or down.
I was knocked. I was knocked
There
out.
is, and I think it's in the behind the scenes, but it's later and we actually like show it. And you can hear Creighton like, oh my gosh. And he dives in and I'm still holding the camera.
Yeah.
Because I just got an epic shot.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do I help someone that's dying or do I go download the footage and make it?
That's the crazy thing is this is kind of the highlighted of like my stunt career. But dude, I got hurt so much. Yeah. I'm like everything.
Oh yeah, and isn't his name Sam?
Sam,
Seth's brother.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're so young, dude.
I just remember this was the first trip that I felt like I started to kind of check out.
Oh really?
I was kind of just like, I'm done.
I remember.
So when I think of this trip, I have those memories.
Yeah. I remember Carter having the same thing.
Oh, this is right after. Yep.
Yeah, I think
so. This is my shot. First of all, that's great camera work.
It is very good. Very good.
And then let's see if it actually shows you like upside down, or sorry, like in the water.
Oh my gosh, dude! And Seth was like, "When in doubt,
triple it out." Oh yeah, because we were coming to you, and I was like, "Yo, look, blah 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 blah." There he is.
Oh my god!
Look at his arm.
That is so not cool.
So sad.
It's so sad. I was a dead fish. And I go up and I was like, did I flip? And then Seth goes, when in doubt, triple it out.
Classic.
After everyone realized that, yeah, he's going to make it. He's alive. That's when people started cracking jokes.
Oh, yeah. But that was like, you were always so fun with that. That kind of like, you just had a great personality. Like you were a fun dude. And
I was featured a lot in the behind the scenes a lot.
Yeah.
Just
you had a lot of injuries.
A lot of injuries.
I wasn't there when it happened. I was there on the hospital with Bubba.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm like, what happened?
You were actually in the intro of that video too. You were the boyfriend.
Oh, in the there's Nerf gun.
This wasn't this one.
Yeah,
that's right.
You're like, look,
that's what you were filming with Devin.
Zane was like, we can take the smallest guy and then we can transform into the biggest guy. It's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Zing, they took it down.
It does. It's still there. Yeah. It's funny that we're talking to Zane right now.
I know. Hopefully you guys can hear, but if you've made it this far into the podcast, good on you. Yeah. At this point, it's like, hey, the real homies are here now. So Bubba was starring in the intro of this video. He's the girlfriend of actually Sawyer Hartman's now wife.
Yeah, that's how reality's like, this guy would never get with this girl. Like, dude, I remember someone like hitting me. Like so Devin was like, don't hit him really hard. And then
they shoot you so hard.
Someone hit me so hard, dude. Thank you. Appreciate that. Boom.
Oh, so hard. Everyone was right there too.
I don't know why that was
like,
cool.
We got to take out the great transition.
It was Zane's mind, dude. I don't understand his mind sometimes, creative mind. It was hilarious.
And there you go, Christian, and how athletic he is.
Because you thought how, like, he just thought that right off that morning. He was like, how can we make this? Yeah, it was such a fun.
That was such a great trip.
Shoot. Yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah.
And Devin made it to where like it was like a Saving Private Ryan type of thing. It was so funny.
And Paul, Steve, good times. I wasn't on any of this shoot.
You weren't worried?
No, I was doing the blob. That was my video. Yeah.
You were setting up the blob?
But I was shooting the blob. Oh. Like we would go back and forth with talent.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Getting shots.
Yeah, so like you guys would send groups of people to me, and then I'd send groups of people to Devin.
True.
And we'd just go back and forth.
Yeah,
but that was like that was where we were at Supertramp.
Wow.
2 different teams.
Yeah.
All the dead people.
That was stupid.
Oh my gosh.
Sterile.
Okay, well, Bubba, thanks for joining me, man.
Yeah, man.
This was good to catch up. Hear all the stuff that you got going on.
Yeah.
All about the journey.
It's awesome.
I'm rooting for you. Let's go. Get to Europe.
Thank you.
Crush those climbs.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Win gold.
Thanks for having me on.
USA.